welcome to an unboxing of Tidal Blades 2, Rise of the Unfolders. I actually forgot that I had this coming, so this is a bit of a surprise right before Christmas, which is pretty exciting. Oh, so they do have audio narration with Foreteller. We've used that app before for a few other games. Always a huge fan of that. Adds to the immersion. Looks like we have a enemy turn, overview, and status effects and abilities. So we have a separate card that we can kind of peek at whenever we want to check some of that information, which is always great. And then here's our hero turn overview. And free actions we can take, as well as round overview. I want to feel what these boards feel like here. Icons and keywords. Ooh, this is nice. I like that. Oh, all the different heroes. That's exciting. Now, I have not played Tidal Blades 1, so I'm not familiar with the world and the story too much. So I don't really know what to expect. This will be pretty new for me overall. Almost feels like paper. I can't tell if it actually is paper or a different material. It's a little bit sturdier than paper would feel. Might be though. And yeah, okay, so you have multiple. So yeah, this is probably multiple trackers for multiple playthroughs. Place underneath map book C to level with map book A and B. Ooh, that's cool. Alright. And this game does use a book system for the maps, which I have said before, but I am a huge fan. I love board games going this route as opposed to using tiles and having tons and tons of tiles. Just recently I started playing Lord of the Rings Journey Through Middle-earth, and that has so many tiles that a lot of them look very similar, and finding that exact tile that you need in order to set up the map, and the map's always evolving throughout the game, can be a really big pain and take away from, you know, the fun of the game. Okay, so this is book C. So it seems like this is going to add, I'm not sure in which orientation, but it's going to add on top of the first two books that already kind of connect with one another. Oh, and these are, yeah, this one's long, and this one's definitely bigger, but this is the scenario book. Is this just kind of explaining the scenarios? Yeah, it does seem like that. Wow, there's a lot in here. Whew. All right, 130 pages. That's beautiful, though. We were just talking about this when this showed up. I was talking to Amber about it, and it's pretty exciting to have a campaign/dungeon crawler that is a little bit more colorful. Like the fact that it's taking place, you know, like around the ocean and like bodies of water, so you have like that big emphasis on the blues and just more colorful environments is pretty exciting, because a lot of our dungeon crawls end up being very fantasy oriented, dungeons and graveyards and things like that. So it's nice to have a little change of pace. Okay, so this is map book B, and text is oriented this way, so I'm guessing it opens. This is going to be the right side of our maps. And it looks like we have a little market there. Yeah. So these are going to connect on the right side, and then you're going to have another book on the left. And they did this system so you can kind of just fold that back. And I love these little hexes. It's interesting. I've watched a couple people do playthroughs of the first mission, and even on the camera here, you can't really see the hexes. Like from an overview or from a camera shot, it almost just looks like just a picture, like a very, you know, well-drawn environmental picture. But if you look really close, there are actually hex tiles. So you are going to be making movement with your characters throughout the game as well as the enemies, and you're going to be moving one hex at a time. But I don't know, I really appreciate the fact that you almost can't see them. In person, you can see them. Like if I lay it down, it is apparent where those hexes are, so it's not like confusing or difficult to understand, you know, where you can move or how many spaces is 3 and things like that. But it does give you that kind of level of like extra layer of immersion where you get to actually enjoy the art and the environment and all the work they put into this. And the beauty of having a book versus tiles as well is you can have all of these pages just look wildly different, which makes it feel like you're really traversing in so many different locations as opposed to just reusing the same tiles for a forest area or a catacombs. And it starts to feel a little samey. Like you have a desert here. That's really cool. And this looks like underwater like buildings. So I really, really like that. I will always say I think this is the direction to go, especially for these big campaign games, so you have a lot more variety in the locations you get to go to. And then here's going to be our map book A, as we expected. And this one goes left. And once again, you have the varying different environments. These books are going to connect. And this is actually going to go really well with our, oh man, I forget the full name of it, but the like gaming butlers. So it's like these little pieces that we can slide to ensure that to typically cardboard, but even with these books being as thin as they are, or the pages being so thin, I believe we could use this to hold the books together very well, just to make sure they're not moving around when we're moving our guys across the map and things like that. So I am curious to see how that works. And then of course we have map book C. So some of these maps are just going to be so big, you're going to have 3 books to really showcase the size, which is really cool. We have a rule book here. This thing is massive. Doesn't seem like it's a ton of pages, but the actual pages themselves are just so big. Oh man. I love it. So we got a little bit of reading to do. One thing I do know about this game that I'm excited about is whenever you play action cards on your turn, whether that's for movement, attacking, healing, various different things, you're going to have this grid in front of you, and I'm sure we're going to unbox that here shortly. But as you lay the cards down, you're going to activate all of the effects on the board or cards in that row or column. You have to pick one. And whenever you fill a row or column and activate all those effects in a turn, and every single slot is filled with a card, they come off the board. So you're not just benefiting from the actions you're playing on the actual cards, but also the column and rows that you're playing those cards in. So there's a lot of like hidden layers of strategy there, and really cool unique turns you can take with the same cards can feel entirely different on another turn, depending on like what slots are available or what cards are already laid down. So that sounds like a really, really cool system that a lot of people seem to really enjoy from the playthroughs that I saw. And then we have a lot of pop outs here. Looks like we have 6 or 7. And I don't know if we're going to be using too many of these. I do really like the artwork on the standee pieces here. The cardboard standees. Got some like kraken tails. But we did get the miniature set with our back tier. So I don't know if we use any of these. Maybe some of them, like the damage tokens and things like that. But I think a lot of the monsters, we should have minis. We shall see, though. We'll go through those later. Always going to showcase. I love when cards do this. It makes it so easy to open these. It is... I want to give credit to this every time I see it. It makes me so happy. Ooh, and these are not your typical cards. The material they use for these is really, really nice. Oh, that feels fantastic. And ooh, lots of artwork here. So it looks like the different minions, their attack cards. I believe we're going to be like drawing from a deck to see what they do on their turn. So that's fun. Not sure what these are. Got some more cards there. The Path of Flow. Spawn cards. And it looks like we have various different colors here, so I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of different things in this stack of cards. We can kind of peek at these. I am curious. One thing that I was kind of iffy on with this game, and it's something that is just kind of generally how things that I enjoy more specifically when it comes to these campaign or dungeon crawly or adventure style games. I'm not a huge fan of when the cards are very samey looking. So you have a lot of action cards that just kind of have like the swords for attacks. They have the like boot or foot icon for movement, and they don't feel super different when you're looking at them. Like, they do very different things, but they don't look very different. I love when you have that additional layer of like artwork on cards. A good example of that is Kinfire Chronicles, albeit one of my favorite campaign games because of the simplicity, the map book that it has for that game, the ease of play, getting it out on the table and getting going and things like that. All of the action cards in that game, most of them look very basic and samey. But then when you play Kinfire Delve, which was their smaller $20 box dungeon, kind of like, I don't know if you call it a dungeon crawler, but co-op dungeon fighty type, boss games, all of the character cards in that game have beautiful custom art. So all of the attacks, like there's some image of the character actually performing that attack. Like fireballs, like you actually get to see the fireball getting shot out versus like a card that just says fireball, and then you have another card that says slash attack, and like you don't have that art, and it's a little bit less immersive for me. I don't know. So I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the action cards kind of going that route of looking very samey. I do see that there seems to be character specific cards. So you do get a little portrait of the character on the top left-hand side, just for that first glance here. And just to kind of show you what I mean, you can see how, like, they're all very blue. It's very simple, so it's just a lot of symbology, keywords. So they're easy to understand. But they're just not, I don't know, they're not as fun to draw and like look at your hand and be like, oh, look at this really cool fireball spell, or this really cool like Nexus Rush. Like, I want to see like a picture of like the character sprinting really fast, and maybe there's like, I don't know, there's like some kind of energy or something emanating from them to show you like how fast they're moving, or invigorating shot. Like, there's just so many different things you can do. They have really cool names for these cards, and I'm sure the effects are going to play out and feel really cool when you're doing them on the board. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish games would, put a little bit of emphasis of the art on the cards, because for me personally, it makes a big difference. We can see here, like, this is more of like a character specific card, has a little artwork on the top left. And then a persistent power. So that sounds cool. But, the bulk of the card is very similar. It's just like kind of that added color and picture, so like that's for this character. Maybe it's an upgrade, throughout the game. So that was just a little rant of something that I'm not a huge fan of when I see in some of these like dungeon crawlery adventure type games. These look like, not sure what sparring partner is, but a lot of these look like they're going to be monster cards. So maybe these are indicating what the monsters are going to be doing, whether that's like movement, attack. I don't know what half these symbols mean. We will learn as we go. And then we have more multicolored small cards here. When drawn, place on your Nexus grid and redraw. So maybe red cards force you to play them right away. Torn shoulder, it seems like a negative effect. So maybe we have some negative cards that either get drawn or put into our deck. And then we have these guys again. Ooh, I really like the art for these. Moving target, cool. It's going to be some for each character. And the characters are so unique versus so many of the other games we've played. So it's exciting to just see something different. I'm glad someone's doing a different theme, different look for the characters here. Really cool. This guy looks awesome. I love that. Whoa, that guy's neat. Defeat an enemy that is adjacent to Drew. That might be my character. He just looks cool. Oh, and then we have like a, almost like an elder shaman looking turtle. That's neat. Okay. And we got a bunch of stuff there. We got our pieces. So these are little pips that I believe are going to go on our character boards to track various resources and things like that. I love these dice. These dice look really, really cool. Translucent. The symbols are very clean and easy to see. They use a lot of different colors, so you can see the difference between them very easily. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of these. And it kind of fits that like watery, oceany theme with them being kind of like a translucent bluish purple. I like those. Take these guys out. And we had, looks like some more pips there. I thought these were the same ones. Okay, standees for our different enemies and characters. We got some baggies here. Not sure what those are for quite yet. We got more dice. Ooh. Ooh, what do we use these guys for? These look like maybe stronger dice. This one looks more attack oriented. The yellow one and the purple looks maybe more heal oriented. I'm just guessing. I don't really know what a lot of these symbols mean. Some more pips. Some more trackers here. Got ourselves an envelope with a question mark. Gonna assume we don't open that quite yet. Another envelope. TB, Tidal Blade. Guessing the story or the rulebook will kind of explain when they want us to open those guys. And then here are some tracking boards here. So I think from what I saw, I believe these are used to track enemy health. So you have different, the numbers will indicate, the numbers and the colors will indicate the different enemies on the board. And then you have health up to 10. So that's cool. It's a little scary that there's 2 of these, so I don't know if you can end up having 12 enemies out on the board at the same time. Oh, and then these are the player boards. These look great. I love they're indented there if you can see a little bit. And then you got the various trackers. Looks like spirit, focus, resilience, synergy. And then here are your wounds. So maybe this is like health trackers. We got little divots on the side there for initiative, hero deck, discard pile. And then there's a lot going on here. These are really, really cool. Oh, and you can just see where those pips are gonna slot. That's always satisfying to me. I'm a fan of that. Okay, so then we have these kind of like these inserts here to keep things from sliding, moving around. Big fan of that as well. Okay, so we'll just slot some of this back in really quick, just so we can go ahead and take a look at the mini box. Just take a peek at those guys. Now I don't know what all comes in here. Well, here you go. Makes it very easy for you to see right off the bat. So you do have the heroes. You have minis for the heroes, which is fun. Ooh, we have bosses and exclusives. So I guess whatever I backed came with some exclusive enemies as well. We got 4 NPCs. That's kind of neat. A bunch of we get 3D shells and fruit as well. So we get fancy resources and then plastic bases. So these are going to show the color and the number as well. So I'm guessing there's going to be, it says there's 12 plastic bases, 12 mutant bases. I'm guessing they're going to be multicolored to cover our, oh my gosh, what is this? Tentacles, salamander thugs, tons and tons of enemies here. So just multiple of what I'm assuming is going to be the common enemies you're going to be running into. Wow! This thing is loaded. I really appreciate the size being small. These guys are not gigantic over-the-top minis. They look like they slot in there pretty well. But man, just look how much you can fit in here when you reduce the size of these things. Whoa, these are really, really detailed for how small they are. Very, very cool. Man, I love these. We're not going to go through all of them, but I will showcase some here. Look at the detail on that. And I love the way they look out of the box, you know? I feel like there's a lot of games where minis just don't look super great out of the box. You know, you're always incentivized to paint if that is your thing. But I can appreciate when a game does kind of that coating on top of these, so they just look really, really cool. They emphasize the detail on the lines for like their armor, their weapons, their shield. So it just looks exciting to get on the board as soon as you buy it. You know, you don't have to wait till everything is painted in order to really get immersed and enjoy the game you just got. So this thing is gonna come out. Whew! Man, even the way they're like inserted there is just beautiful. Big fan. Okay. Whoa! These are so cool. Oh, don't mind that. A little bit of chaos. So it might be easier to just pull this guy out. So I'll kind of give you, we got the characters, and they're all the heroes are a different color than the bosses and the enemies. Even the enemies are more blue. Looks like the boss minis here are purple, and then we're like a bronze, brownish look. Just really, really freaking cool right out of the bat. Man. They're kind of reselling me on minis again. I love miniatures, I just don't love the space they take up. And recently there's just been so many games where the minis have not, like without painting them, they look bad. And it kind of makes us hesitate playing some of those big campaign games with really cool minis until they're painted, which just delays the time until you actually get it on the table and play it. This thing is heavy, and the detail is just incredible on this guy. Wow, these are freaking cool, man. Huge fan of this. I have never, and it's not even just detail in the lines, like these are actually indented. Like there's a lot of time spent on, it's like they almost look like they should be able to bend their joints. Like the level of detail is astounding here. This guy looks freaking awesome. Ooh, he has a little pet behind him. Like, look at that. There's a mini within a mini. He's holding like a huge scythe. Oh, man. This guy's freaking sick. And even the bosses, I mean... Look at this guy. Looks like a huge crab here. And this thing is, it's heavy, it's weighty. Like, it feels solid. I am just blown away. I have never seen miniatures this detailed before. Just right out of the box. No paintwork needed. You can just enjoy all the detail right away. Wow. Really, really cool, guys. And then here we go. Oh, we have some kind of sparkly bases here. Let me take these out of the bags so you can see without the glare. So I don't know if these are going to be unique. Oh, they're like, they're bendy. Wow. Man, the quality of the materials for this game are up there. I love this, you know? There's no real fear of like this breaking easily. Maybe someone like inserts a mini a little too hard and, you know, they end up bending it. Like, I don't know what these are made out of, but that's awesome. I'm almost wondering if these resources are going to be similar. Yeah, see that? Colors are so different. So vibrant, so they just stick right out. When you see this on the board, it's going to be very easy to tell, you know, who you're attacking. Wow. Okay, so these are... Oh, these are a little squishy. Not very squishy, but it's not... Wow, look at these guys. Even these resources are super detailed. These are really nice. But yeah, they have like a... It's not cardboard. Very kind of like mushy feel to them. Feels durable, I think is the best way to explain it. And then the shells do feel hard, as they should. I love these guys. Very, very cool. Okay. Alright, guys. Well, that's going to be it for our unboxing of Tidal Blades 2, Rise of the Unfolders. I'm going to have some reading to do, some organizing to do here with this, with all these pieces and whatnot. But I do look forward to playing this, getting some content on the channel, maybe some thoughts out there of what I think. You know, we do have a healthy amount of campaign games and dungeon crawlers on our list that we want to get to, but I'm always excited when I see something that looks to support one solo play as well as up to 4 players. 60 to 90 minutes it seems to be for a session, and from what I've seen in playthroughs, it doesn't look to be like a super difficult system to wrap your head around. So I do think we'll be able to pick this up quickly and get a pretty good understanding of what this game's all about. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye, adventurers.